We are ready to kick this off. So today we do have Vontae, who's an artist. We were interviewing him today for the magazine, No Offense Magazine. So we definitely thank him for his time. We do understand you're a very busy man, so we're gonna get right to it if you can. I like
Thank
to
you.
start off, yes, sir. So I like to start with all stories. All good stories start off from the beginning. So let's go there if we can. Uh, Talk a little bit about your childhood. I mean, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school and things like that? If you
I grew up in a very country part of Maryland called Calvert County, and I was in foster care. But before, being in foster care, I grew up with a lot of siblings. I'm one of six. My grandmother had a lot of kids, so I have a huge family, and everyone loves music. So I was surrounded by music, and that's what pushed me to be an artist myself.
can. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, sorry, I actually had a good chance to take a listen to uh Note to Self
Hmm.
before we got to speak today, man. Loving the content. I like the fact that you definitely stand on an approach. It's music with the meaning, which I feel like is a slow dying art. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
so I definitely appreciate the for one the context and that your music actually has a meaning, it has a message behind it, and the fact that you don't dumb down your lyrics, brother. You make sure that you're
Right.
saying what you want to say, how you want to say it. There's no I'm saying, no reason for interpretation because you lay it out and you do it with skillful manner, with your lyricism and with your amazing cadences, brother. Like they
Thank
switch
you.
up, it's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? I
Thank
love that. um as far as in your childhood, who are some of the artists that you listen to?
Actually, you know what? Compared to my own personal music, my taste in music is a lot different. Like I said, I grew up around a lot of family members. Most of them were a little bit older. And I was the one in the living room dancing with my aunts and uncles to Luther, the Whispers. And I'm actually getting ready to go to see the Whispers tonight. They have a concert nearby, so I'm going to go see them tonight. And yeah, like the Temptations. When I got a little bit older into my, teenage years where I could buy CDs and stuff like that, I was listening to, Michael Jackson, Missy Elliott, who's really the one that really pushed me to start rapping. When I heard her album, The Cookbook, that album was amazing. I think that's her last album that she actually put out back in 2005. And yeah, that's what pushed me to do music. So Michael Jackson, Missy Elliott, Luther, just all the R&B artists, old school, and the ones that are 80s, 90s, like Bobby Brown. Like I love Bobby Brown and those R&B groups.
And you spoke. I had to check to make sure you weren't in my playlist right there, brother, for a second, because I thought you sound like you was reading right off of it for a minute.
I'm telling you that old school music, even like Whitney Houston, Shaka Khan, all of them, like just amazing R&B, soulful music. And I try to incorporate, touches of that into, who I am as an artist and into my music as well.
I see. I see. I did catch your samples. Like you got a couple samples in there, man. It's nice. You can always tell, you know, where a person's creativity is by the samples that they use. You know what
For
I'm
sure,
saying?
for sure.
And the process and how they use it, how they encapsulate that in their work. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Then how it ties up into the music and which hooks they choose. So I'm definitely
Definitely.
digging it. Definitely digging it. As far as I myself, I'm 32. I was born in the '90s era, so you kind of let New Jack Swing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of era. Was
Yeah,
that?
like the eh.
Yeah, yeah, man. Let me ask
Uh-huh.
you. Does it trip you out to kind of see, how that music is being used? Like that was the music that we heard, sometimes when it came out for the first time,
Hmm.
but now that they're sampling it, does it what's how do you feel about that? Because I'm like, damn, I feel old because they're picking this and the music isn't that old that I
Right,
had.
right, right. And
Yeah.
I'm born in the 90s too. So I was born in 92. Um
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's different because it's a different generation now. You know, back then love was the, you know, the thing that everyone was singing about, love and heartbreak and stuff like that, and partying. And, you know, they're singing about it now, but they're not pushing it to the forefront as they used to, you know, back in the day. Now it's all about, you know, twerking and drug use and drinking and partying and disrespecting, you know, women and stuff like that. I mean, it's a way of expressing, you know, I mean, it's a way of expressing yourself from the things that you have witnessed, or just things that you're going through in your life. So as an artist, I just have to say I respect it, because, you know, if someone feels a certain way, or if they've grown up in a certain household dealing with certain things, they're going to vent and talk about it. So, I mean, it's just their own personal thing, you know, and then a lot of stuff is trendy nowadays. So if someone, you know, if a label wants you to talk about a certain thing and your music is not, you know, talking about that, they're going to want you to do stuff that's selling. So I get it.
Right, right. I mean, it is business. I get it. You know, everybody's trying to provide for the family. So yeah, I get it. Sometimes that does require you to bend. But
Right.
one of the things that that concerns me about it is because I believe music to be highly influential. And I believe like you spoke before, in the '90s there was more of a love message.
Hmm.
And then today's that I feel like that's lost.
It
Um,
is.
and I believe that if a person is never introduced to something, then how will they know about it?
That's
You know what
very
I'm
true.
saying?
That's very true.
Um,
Very
um, and, and to show how influential music can be, I definitely want to bring up the project, your last project you did, where you were speaking about Black Lives Matter and things like that are going on. Um, I was glad to hear the song. I was glad to
true.
hear On God, because I feel like as an icon, as somebody who's going to take a stance as far as this is what I represent,
Hmm.
the to be unwilling to fold to pressures is something that's also being lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when people see somebody doing that, then they know, you know, hey, it's kind of like seeing a black president from a little black kid. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
one thing to hear about something, but when you actually see it and see it, you know what I'm saying? They believe you could see how it can actually come to pass. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right. That's very
Um,
true.
so I definitely go ahead. What were you saying? I'm sorry, bro.
Because I was going to say, even with me, you know, there are certain things that I didn't experience or witness as a child, and even now as an adult, I'm somewhat struggling with certain things that I didn't have, or certain things that I was exposed to as a child. And as an adult, if you don't have a way, or have, you know, some sort of click that goes off in your head saying, oh, I need to go and look at this, or I need to research this, you're most likely not going to be, you know, you're not going to get up and go and do it, or you're not going to exude love, and you're not going to show compassion to other people if you're used to, you know, being abused and beat on and stuff like that. So I definitely understand what you're saying. You know, we have to kind of pass the torch to the next generation. I think they were trying to do that, but, you know, with the way that things are going, and politics and all that stuff, I think just people just are kind of just doing what they want to do, and it's like a free for all right now.
Right. It's like the sharks are feeding right now, brother. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
but
crazy.
but I love the guidance that you're providing, and definitely standing on a principle, because um, you know, whatever you spend time into will bear fruit. So
Definitely.
it's like if, as long as we keep, like you said, passing the torch, and standing for like, hey, these are right things, these are wrong things. You know, even if they're falling on some deaf ears, somebody is listening, and they
Right.
and they, and they and they can take that and make an impact.
I'm
I
listening.
what
I'm
exactly,
listening. I'm
and
listening.
brother, we're listening to you. Speaking of which, I want to make
Thank you.
sure to let you know we do have a No Offense Radio. We did just add On God to the rotation. It is a paid royalty rotation.
Whoa. Thank you.
So
Thank
yes, sir, I made sure to take care of that before we got this taken care of, because brother, I'm really thoroughly impressed with your music.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
Let me ask. There was actually a situation that happened last month, if I'm not mistaken, about a Ukrainian immigrant that was allowed to fly to that was able to fly to Mexico to cross the border, and she's publicly you know, done interviews about it. You know, how as a black male, and we just, you know, we not too long ago had a Haitian crisis, where
Hmm.
a humanitarian crisis, and they, you know, they were having to do all these things to try to come through the border, and not even that. We have native Aboriginal people here, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, from Mexico.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, that, you know, we just celebrated Cinco de Mayo,
Cinco de
which if you do
Mayo.
your which if you do your history, then you know that, you know, there were Moorish people there that helped in that war, in his
Hmm.
in the Battle of Pueblo.
Hmm.
Um, and seeing what, you know, Mexicans have to go through as far as immigration here. How did what was your well, for one, were you familiar? Are you familiar with the story that I'm talking about the Ukrainian woman?
I'm trying to think about it. I don't think I may not have seen that.
Okay, so so what happened was, you know, obviously there's a war in Ukraine, and I don't advocate for
Right.
war, because I feel like there's a bunch of people dying for some things that pre-
Yeah.
people can pretty much talk about. You know, somebody takes the low road with killing
Hmm.
people and things like that. However,
Hmm.
there was a Ukrainian immigrant that was able to get on a plane to fly to Mexico, and then cross the border illegally here to America,
Hmm.
to seek asylum, and she was able to get through border patrol. Like,
Oh
she was
wow.
able to get through. She was able to get through the border. She actually crossed it illegally into the
Hmm.
border here. They know that she crossed illegally, and she's been allowed to remain.
Yikes.
She's done interviews. She's done, you know, she's all over social media. She's all over, you know, the news. She's done different interviews. So it's not that it's unknown that she illegally crossed the border here,
Hmm.
but because of, you know, if you ask me, her skin color, because she is of a lighter shade.
I was going to ask you
There,
that.
yeah, well, we were speaking around that, because, and that's why I brought up Haitian. That's why I brought up
Hmm.
Haiti, because, you know, not too long ago, Haiti was going through a humanitarian crisis.
Right.
Um, and not, you know, they were actually trying to do the same thing, come up through passage. They were stuck at the border.
Hmm.
They weren't allowed to cross. So
Wow.
it's just, you
Because they
know,
were
and
black, right?
you know, without saying it,
Darker,
that's what I believe it
darker
was. You
skin.
know,
Yeah, like yeah.
and it's just in a time where we just, you know, we definitely hope for, you know, social reform, um, after the Ahmaud Arbery case and the
Hmm.
Black Lives Matter movement, and the spotlight it definitely showed on how people are unjustly treated in this country based on their,
Hmm.
you know, ethnic status. I was just curious to get your take on, you know, what how would you stand on that? Because if you ask me personally, I
Hmm.
mean, I never want to send anybody into, you know, a dangerous situation, but I feel like fair is fair.
Right.
Um, and if there have been people here that have never committed crime that are being found out to, you know, that they're illegal, and they're being asked to leave,
Hmm.
should it be that way across the board?
Yeah, I
If that's
mean, honestly, there are certain people who can pull strings and do things. I'm sure if the president's son was over there, or if some big leaders, whoever was over there, they would find a way to pull some strings and to get them back home or to do whatever they had to do. So we know that there's power in politics and money and stuff like that. Um, just like even the basketball player that they haven't found yet, she's been
Mhm.
missing for a long time. So um, a lot of people just place their value and their importance on certain things that aren't really that important. And then they place more and more value on the things that, not to say that they shouldn't be as important, but it's just like you said, there should be a general rule of thumb for like everything. Of course, some special cases, but I mean, if you're saying that certain people can't come over, it's like, well, why aren't these people allowed to come over? You know what I'm saying? So I don't agree
Right.
with all of it. It's kind of very uh disheartening to be honest.
And I side with you on that. You know, I'm never like I'm not one person like, oh, this side should be treated bad because this side is treated bad. I'm the side trying to figure out how can we all be treated well and live
Right.
well.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want it to come off like that. But we speaking of which, like you said, there is power in politics and things like that.
Hmm.
So what do you said, if I could, what do you propose, or what do you think is a way that we can position, and when I say we, I'm talking about people in general, not just one
Hmm.
people, but what do you think there's that one could do or one should do to place themselves in a position of power to make a change, to make a difference? Because like with you, you're using your music, and you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying. It's if you ask me, I think On God had 13,000 streams when I checked it out this morning.
Hmm.
So obviously somebody's listening somewhere.
Right.
It's definitely resonated with some people.
Right.
What are some ideas that you might have to maybe place people, what I'm saying, to place a person in a position of power where they can make some change? What are some ideas that you might have toward that?
I mean, usually when I deal with my issues and my problems, I try to get to the base of it, the root of it. You can't start at the top and figure it out from there. You honestly have to go back to the root, and just people in general. I think we need to set up places where people, can learn how to read and learn how to write and learn how to fill out a checkbooks. I mean, there's schools that don't even teach cursive anymore. So just back to the foundation where we're teaching kids about certain things that they need to learn about, and that way they can take care of themselves, as they're growing up as young adults. And then once they are out in the world as young adults, or more, adult, where they're paying bills and stuff like that, is important for them to know all of those things. Once you're educated on all of that, you're self-sufficient, you're able to pay your bills, and what I'm saying, like you're functioning as an adult in the real world. I feel like you can help other people, and you would want to help other people because you know the struggle. So I feel like we just need to place more resources in those areas, and then not just place them there and not tell them that they're there, because some people are just focused on working 9 to 5. Sometimes I work my job and I'm back and forth from home to work, and I don't even see the building that they're building down the street because I'm just
Focus.
straight so
Yes, sir.
focused on that. So promote it, put up a billboard that says um you know housing classes to teach people how to get houses and build equity in their houses, and stuff like that. All of that stuff is important, and that's the only way that we're going to succeed as a people. And then also, that just helps the world in general. One race or one group of people only having power, I feel like it's is bad for the other people. It's detrimental for their lifestyle and what they want to do. Everybody deserves to be successful in some sort of way. Not everyone wants to be, Bill Gates and rich like that, because it comes with, certain responsibilities, but everybody deserves a fair share at, success and happiness, cheaper gas prices and this racial system, like all of that stuff is just crazy. It's preventing people from moving ahead in life, and I hate it.
I'm right there with you, brother. A lot of times I believe there might be a distraction,
Hmm.
because I think, like you said, and I think if we all got down to root, like if we had some really deep, like root conversations to fix the root, then
Hmm.
the tree of life could grow. You know what I'm saying? But I feel
Right.
like with a lot of these labels that we, because I feel like everything has a label. Like you've got to fit
Yeah.
under a label. Everything has to be a label. And I feel like all they do is divide. Obviously people have a difference of choice and opinion. That's a
Mhm.
given. Everybody
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
think or feel the same. But I feel like when um, instead of saying like, hey guys, this is my opinion, maybe we can find a way to make this coincide with everybody else's opinion. People, like, they pick sides, and they
Mhm.
lose sight of the actual conversation. It becomes then more, well, we're going to do this more than not, instead of the whole conversation being, how can we all come down and sit down and figure out how to live on this rock together, where
Right.
everybody gets what they would like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I believe that as long as we still have people pushing issues on each side and speaking where they feel they're being oppressed in some kind of way, not necessarily like being held down, but where things are being an obstacle in your way of success. Like,
Hmm.
um, I think, as we bring more attention to these things, then, like you said, discussing the root problem will render a solution.
It
Um, and
will,
our and our
definitely.
and our and our culture, especially, one of the things I think that are not that we're not fully prepared for, um, or that I think we could be more prepared for, is credit discussion, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Even in high school, I feel like I really believe that every student should, it should be a requirement. Just like you have to have four
Yeah.
English, three maths, and three.
Yeah.
You should be required to take a credit literacy class,
Right.
and required to pass that credit literacy class,
Definitely.
because a lot of us are finding these things out as we go, and we're
Yeah,
making
after we've
mistakes as we
already
go.
messed our credit up, now we're learning about credit after we've messed it up and we can't get a house and we can't get a car. So now we're taking out, loans from places that are charging like 24, 25%. I had a personal experience with that. If I can throw this little story in where a
Absolutely.
couple years ago, I went and got a car and I wasn't financially, I mean, I wasn't educated on credit like that. And like I was saying, I didn't grow up with my mom and my dad, and I was in foster care. And then I went to this place and I went to that place. So my only teachings were to survive, you know what I'm saying? Like no one ever taught me, about credit and stuff like that. I mean, they mentioned it or said, oh, my credit's messed up, but they've never sat down with me, at 16, 17, and 18, where, that's the age I feel like, you start using your credit or you could start building it. No one ever sat down and taught me that. So when I went and got my first car, I signed for a car and I'm thinking that the car was $6,000 because that's what the price was on the car. The sticker, by the
Interesting.
time I signed, I paid them $16,000 and didn't realize that until I recently paid the car off. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And then in our cases, especially by the time you figure it out, and I hope this isn't the case with a particular car, but by the time you paid it off, it doesn't have the value
Yeah,
anymore. That
it's only like worth like $1,000 or less.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I definitely think, preparing our youth with the tools, like you said before, passing the torch properly,
Yeah.
is definitely a big part of the program, because a lot of us are starting the race losing, and just to try to even the playing field,
Hmm.
as we say, is to each one reach one and teach one.
Yeah.
Um, but let's definitely move forward with you. What are some things that you want to get done in the next 5 years? Because I definitely see you on the road, brother. I know the music is going to reach a lot of ears that are going to be paying
Definitely.
attention to it, brother. You have a way you have a way with words that really commands attention. So I
Hmm.
shout you
Thank
that.
you.
You know what I'm saying? And so, what are some things in the next 5 years that that we can look for from Vontae?
Definitely more music. And I want to build on my brand. I actually want to, start putting out some things that I've always wanted to do. Like a men's like I love body wash and like stuff like that. So like body wash, cologne. Um, Obviously, I want a Grammy, like at least one. Come
Yeah,
on now.
yes, sir. Don't let
And
nobody slap you when you get it now.
yo, so Grammys and just honestly, I want a solid lifestyle.
Yes,
I
sir.
know all the other materialistic things like money and car, like all of that stuff means nothing if you don't have a solid lifestyle. And right now, I feel like I'm like chasing and chasing and chasing certain things. And I just want to get to a place where I have a solid lifestyle. Like I don't want to speak on certain things where it may block a blessing, but
Mhm.
I don't want to live like a Michael Jackson type of lifestyle where I have billions and billions of people, you know what I'm saying? And the responsibilities, like I want to be able to live comfortably. I want to be able to do what I wake up every day and do what I love. I want to be able to call and say, hey, Ben, let's get together and, you know what I'm saying? Let's do this. And then I also want to just be able to help other people find their purpose in life, and to live the most, passionate and successful life that they possibly can be. Because, I mean, you don't have to have it all to be successful. You don't have to have it all to be happy either. So that's what I've learned. I've wanted so much stuff in life. Um, a couple years ago, and you know, growing up, it's like that comes with a lot of responsibility, and I just want to be happy. Like that's it. That's it.
Well, brother,
So
you definitely
more
go ahead.
music, more music, and I want to tour too. I want to do some touring, um, endorsements, stuff like that, and also want to hopefully meet some of the people who have inspired me. People like Tyler Perry. I actually did an extra role with him. I didn't get a chance to speak to him, but I was, you know, in person with him.
Wow.
Did an extra role with him on his show Have and Have Nots. And you know, like meet him, people like Oprah, obviously, Obama and Michelle, and just, you know, other musical inspirations, Missy. Uh, Unfortunately, Michael and Whitney aren't here, so but yeah, just a lot of the other people who have influenced me. So hopefully those things happen.
Hey, brother, listen, you got the energy, you got the glow. I believe
Thank you.
you definitely got that in your future, brother.
Thank you.
There's nothing that you can't achieve, and the way that you're going about it, greatness definitely awaits for you, my man. Do me one
Thank you.
favor before I let you go, and I definitely appreciate your time. Go ahead and leave your go ahead and throw out your tag, your social medias and platforms where people can find you. That way, they can make sure that that we, you know what I'm saying, they continue to watch the Vontae story unfold.
Thank you. Thank you. So check me out on Instagram at the official Vontae. That's Vontae VONTAE. And then just my website, theofficialvontae.com, that I actually just launched a couple of days ago. So check that out for all of my music, videos, and so much more content on the way. I'm working on a new album right now, so hopefully that will be out towards the end of this year. And I just have a couple more things that I'm going to wrap up with Note to Self, maybe 2 or 3 videos, and some live performances, and hopefully I can put together some sort of intimate little show to wrap the Note to Self era up, and then start moving forward into working on this, you know, finishing up this new album and putting that out towards the end of the year.
Hey man, you guys heard it. You definitely make sure that you go and follow. Hey man, and from the man himself, right now, you got one song that you can make them listen to. What is that song that you want them right now to make sure that they check out after this video?
I would say On God, honestly, because I think right now, just in general, the relationships that we have with the people around us are very, very important. And On God talks about those relationships. It talks about the relationship that you have with whatever partner you're dating or talking to. It also talks about the relationship that you have with friends, you know, dealing with fake friends or people who mistreat you. And then it also talks about, you know, in the bridge, I say, you need some friends that's going to pray for you. You need that kind of love that's going to be there all day for you. You got to separate the real from the fake, from your friends to your family and everyone you date. Shit, through hell and back, you need some kind of healing. Stay off of social media, telling your business. So like, it's talking about self-love and telling you what you should do to heal. So definitely On God is the most perfect song to listen to right now.
Positive vibes for you, bro, Vontae, man. We definitely wish you well, King, and we
Thank you.
appreciate your time, brother. You continue to be great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Thank you, sir.